Hello, all our lovely spooky friends, and welcome to another Storytime episode of the Scary-ish podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to tell you guys some stories.
Indeed we are. And as we previously discussed, we switched our format of the show just a tiny bit. We typically do 6 stories per show. We're switching to 4. So a little bit less, but no big deal. We're very excited to share the stories that we have with you folks because they were sent by you folks. Shout out to Carly, who just subscribed for the 7th month in a row with Amazon Prime. It is March, so you can start your streaks and keep them going. We appreciate every single one of you that does that. Also, I do need to run one of these notifications because it happened while we were in countdown mode and not when the show was live. And I want to give a shout out to Chessie Cat because you are the first person to buy a piece of merchandise from our Streamlabs store while we were live. And I don't know what this looks like, so let's all watch this together. Cool.
Oh, that's cool. Cute.
It actually shows what was bought, except that's totally, it says it's a Galaxy S9 case, and that's totally a picture of a tank top. So who really knows? But we do appreciate the fact that you purchased something from us. Also, shout out to Spooky Zora, who just resubscribed with their Amazon Prime. And that just ran on its own. So it looks like that's working. So fantastic stuff. We appreciate all of you folks.
Very proud of my most recent designs for stuff. So hopefully you guys like them too. I know the Streamlabs store has more exclusive stuff that's not on our Teespring store. So if you guys want to check that out, there's a new design you guys haven't even seen yet that's up there. So,
and if any of you folks are like, wow, you guys seem to have a lot of stores, I don't want to go through a bunch of them. I did go ahead and make a store page on our website, so scarish.com. If you go there, there's a tab at the top, and if you click store, all of the merchandise that we have available across all of the things between Teespring, Streamlabs, and Robin's Etsy store, they're all shown right there. And if you find a product that you want, just click on it, and it'll take you straight to the purchase page of whichever store you're going to. Streamlabs will probably take you to the home page. They're a little bit finicky, but you can just locate that item and pick it up. And they come in a bunch of different variations of colors. I know we have like t-shirts and stuff like that up there. Some of them are, locked into white, but that's just about it. Pretty much all of the other ones, like sweaters, hoodies, all that stuff, you can pick your color, and there's multiple things that you can pick, sizes, all that fun stuff. So definitely go to scarish.com and check out the stores. And as far as the stories we're about to read, these are all sent to us by listeners like yourselves. So if you have a story you would like to share with us, it can be anything from scary to funny to spiritual. We get a bunch of different things. You can email storytime@scarish.com. You can also go to the website scarish.com and click on contact us and fill out a form. I will say 3 out of the 4 stories we're going to read you tonight all came in via the form, which is really cool that you folks are using it. You can also go to facebook.com/scarishpodcast and message us there. If you go there, click like on the page. We always appreciate that. You can join the Scary-ish Spooky Friends group for a bunch of really funny memes, or you can post your story there if you want. Ulri posted a video back, I think in September, about their haunted Stairway to Nowhere. Shout out to Akasina no Kairu, who just resubscribed for the 7th month in a row on Prime.
Dude, I can't believe how many times you guys have subscribed to us, because it
helps us know how long we've been doing these live, because you folks have been supporting us the entire time, and it's amazing.
I hurt my nail.
Well, let's not take a break to fix those nails. Robin very often takes a break to fix her nails while we're recording. Shout out to Miss Deezy, who just resubscribed for the 7th month in a row. And it says, that Patreon shout in the beginning of episode 65 jarred me while driving down the 15th South.
Hilarious.
Thanks. I'm glad that you didn't crash or anything like that. But yeah, so you can email us all the different ways. You can Facebook us. You can join our Discord. The best way to do that, go to the website, scarish.com, click on the little Discord link. It's on all the pages. All of our social media links are little logos. Just click on whichever one you want. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast.
Yeah.
Those are all the ways to reach out to us, and we appreciate all of the folks who do. So I believe I'm going first tonight.
Yeah.
So the one that I'm starting out with is a little bit heavy, so we're going to start with it instead of end with it, because Robin typically gets upset if we end with the heavy ones. And the subject of this one is past life you can share on the pod.
All right.
So here we go. What's good, my fellas? It's your boy Laura. Pronouns they, them. What's good? And I'm back again with a more hopeful story. I don't really tell a lot of people because I feel like it'll make me seem like a quote-unquote freak or something. So I decided to share it with you guys because I feel pretty compelled to share it with somebody. And I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind, folks. Like, some people really just have stuff they want to share because they don't want to seem like a weirdo to other people, and they know that just might be how they're perceived, and you can feel free and feel safe to share it with us, even if you don't want it shared on the pod. But getting back to it, it goes on. It talks a lot about depression and suicide. It's very intense, so I hope I don't make anyone too upset about it.
So trigger warning.
Trigger warning. I was told that this has a happy ending. So
oh, cool. Okay.
Here we go.
Unless it has a happy ending, I guess.
I have had several bouts of depression where I would get so low I would be suicidal. One of these times was when I was 17 and I would stay up all night deciding the most inconvenient way I could die without making anyone sad. That's really, really sad.
That's really, really sad.
I was in the middle of my living room feeling mentally exhausted, as a depressed person would, when they decide to skip hanging out with friends and family on the holidays and stay home crying instead. I'm glad this has a happy ending because it's definitely starting out sad. By the front door, we have this small mirror that I looked into for what felt like a minute, and suddenly I felt like I was somewhere else entirely. I saw myself as a grown man around early 1900s to 1930s. So it's like a vision they're having. I was in an alleyway of a large city talking to my daughter, who looked about 8 or so. I was telling her to go find some bread for us to eat when I get home from work, and she suddenly started coughing up blood. I could feel my heart sink. I knew she was sick with the same illness that her mother had, tuberculosis. She told me, "It's okay, Daddy," and I told her I would be back from work soon, and she ran off. Ever since my wife Sophia died, that's very specific, and I feel like you could try and dig up to see.
Research and see.
Ever since my wife Sophia died, I was absolutely distraught about it. The only thing I had to live for was our daughter now, but I knew she wasn't going to get better. Instead of going to work that day, I climbed up on top of the building of my job. I vividly remember looking down at the sidewalk and seeing cars go by on the road. I vividly remember feeling the wind and my feet on the top edge of the building. I felt myself lean forward, but most importantly, I felt the exact moment of regret as my feet left the building. I even remember hearing the crunch of my bones and the sound of my body hitting the concrete, and then just darkness.
What the F?
This is definitely very dark. And it's just weird I shouldn't say it's weird, but I think it's important to note that they remember the feeling of regret as much as they remember anything else in this thing.
That may be why it's a happy ending.
That may be. So let's keep going. I came back to seeing myself crying in the mirror of the living room and falling on the floor. I felt and saw every single bit of that flashback as if it was really me. I felt as if it was truly important for me to see that right then in one of the lowest points of my life. It was a message saying that I really will regret leaving this life. I feel like I wasn't alone anymore. I'm 21 now and I see a therapist every other week and I take medication every night, but I finally realized that the feelings like that don't last forever. No matter what highs or lows I go through, I know that I can make it through and that at the end of the day, it'll be okay. The vision gave me strength to finally go to the hospital and get help for myself, and I know that past life me is happy for me finally being able to make a life worth living. I know this is a sad story, but I hope it uplifted someone's spirits who needed to hear it, hopefully. If not, here's a picture of my 2 little Omen babies, Bean, the chunky one, and Oliver, the tiny cinnamon roll, snuggling. And it's a picture of 2 cats in a cat bed spooning, and it's absolutely adorable.
Oh my goodness. I love that pattern on cats where it's like...
striped?
Yeah, but it's not just like regular tabby stripes. It's like McGonagall stripes, you know?
You always say, "Oh my god, that cat's a McGonagall."
Yeah, I don't know what they're actually called, okay? But all I know...
I think that's a good name for a breed.
All I know is that's what Professor McGonagall was in Harry Potter.
So that is the end of the email, though. So that's the end of the story. So I don't know. It's definitely one of those intense ones, like seeing this or feeling this, whether it was a vision or a hallucination or whatever the case may be. But it's always a good thing when whatever happens, whatever you see at the end of it, you like want to keep going.
Yeah.
So it's a good story to share, and we're very happy that you shared it with us. So we appreciate that. I know it's an intense thing, and like they said, they don't share this with many people, if anyone, because they don't want to feel like a quote unquote freak. But like sometimes people have stuff happen to them that's unexplainable, and you just want to tell someone about it. And I just think it's a good thing to get it off your chest. But thank you very much. We appreciate you sending that in.
Yeah. So this one begins. Hello.
Hello.
It says
Again,
it's from Celia.
Friend of a friend. I know you well.
This one's from Celia. So it goes, hello. Before I get to telling my story, I just wanted to say that I've been one of your ghost listeners since late September.
I think it's funny they're called that.
Of 2018, in case your backlog gets even longer. It got shorter. So, which is great. My coworker recommended that I listen to you, and she got me hooked. Then I got
Shout out to your coworker, whoever they are. We appreciate that.
We do
sharing
appreciate
the
it, yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, I want to see like the branches, where it's like,
where did it begin?
Yes, and then it goes to this person, and then that person goes to this. I just want to see.
It's like that scene in Wayne's World where he's like, and they tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends, and so on, and the grid keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You've never seen Wayne's World, or you just don't remember that part?
I just don't. The only thing I remember is the Foxy song.
Foxy lady.
Yeah, that's all I remember. And
she knew I was in a bad mood one day because we were driving, and Foxy Lady came on, and I didn't do the ears from Garth when he sings that song in Wayne's World where he goes, Foxy. And I hope the listeners could hear my fingers pretending to be fox ears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun
Cute.
stuff. Let's get back to that email.
Then I got my fiance hooked on your show, too. We had a 2-day road trip to my parents' house and picked up his brother on the second day. And of course, when we were driving through fields at 10 p.m., I played your episode about black-eyed kids and freaked them out. You guys are hilarious and are just scary enough. Also, shout out to Adam's mom for being amazing and going through all the stories you get sent. Get her some flowers or something.
She needs it. She
does need it.
She's having a rough few days. So if any of you out there are listening to this, put your hands up in the spirit bomb formation that everyone does to donate their energy to Goku when he's trying to defeat a foe, because she's having a rough couple of days and she's dealing with some family stuff. So it's a really good timing for this email to come in, giving a shout out to my mom. So shout out to my mom. I hope you're watching.
This story's kind of short, and I don't exactly remember this event because I was 3 or 4, but my mom told me what she remembered. One weekend, me and my mom went up to my grandma's, which was her mom's mom, because we need to...
Maternal grandmother.
Yes, maternal grandmother. The only memory I have of this trip is playing with her chihuahuas or other small dog. Anyway, one of the nights staying there, I was put to bed and my mom and grandma were chatting down the hall or downstairs when they suddenly heard me screaming at something or someone to get away from me. I was always a quiet and well-behaved kid, so it was weird for me to be screaming like that. My mom rushed into my room to go and save her baby.
Aww,
duh.
That's adorable.
I don't know.
You don't think she's adorable?
No. Because she said duh. And I'm like, some moms would be reluctant.
We've had stories before where the moms were like, I really didn't want to go to my kid, but they did anyways. It's good to know that they rushed in there, though.
When she got in there, she found me sitting straight up in bed, pointing at nothing in the middle of the room, still screaming.
Okay.
That's scary.
If this story doesn't end with your mom giving you away or dumping you on like an orphanage, like doorstep, another shout out to your mom for keeping you around, because that's some terrifying stuff to have a kid that's pointing at nothing, screaming in the middle of the night. So yeah, I'd be haunted by that.
I'm just thinking of that scene in Supernatural where the demon or the devil or whatever,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The yellow-eyed demon standing over Sam in his crib and like dropping blood in his mouth, and then his mom gets like stuck to the ceiling and the house sets on fire or whatever.
It's similar, but she walked in there and she couldn't see anything, so it's a little bit different.
All right, but that's all I
don't think that's how this one's going to end, is all I'm saying.
All right. After that, I'm not sure if we stayed in a hotel or went home that night, but my grandma has never had us over again for our safety. Don't worry, she comes and visits us often.
Grandma's like, I think you guys are banned from my house forever. It's for your own good.
Or it's like, don't
bring that demon child in my house anymore.
I was going to make Ricky Bobby joke, but okay.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
A few years ago, when my mom told me about this story, she also told me that grandma's partner often practiced witchcraft in the house.
Nope.
So all the times that grandma has talked about cleansing her home makes sense. I'm 19 now and haven't been back to my grandma's since that incident. I'm not sure what I saw, but obviously me screaming in the middle of the night was terrifying for my mom and grandma. Eventually, I'll have to send you more of my stories, including half sort of sleep paralysis and living on a haunted college campus for a year that used to be a tuberculosis hospital.
Lots of tuberculosis stuff.
An underground tunnel. Thanks for reading. Keep on creeping on, Celia. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sending that in.
Yeah. What are the odds, TB?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's very cool that your grandmother was like, look, I'll see you. Don't worry about that. I'll come visit you, but don't come to my house anymore. Because it's like, you don't really hear that in stories that often. And it really just, that has an air of authenticity when the older person, like the matriarch of the family is like, yeah, I'm kind of afraid about this. So let's just keep doing the thing that didn't spawn this activity. Stay the F out of my house.
Yeah.
Like if I was older and if I had my grandkid come over and that shit happened, I'd be like, I don't want to see Billy anymore. It's not like a bad thing or anything. Like we'll FaceTime.
I just imagine like the grandma's freaked out and it's not necessarily protecting the kids. It's definitely the grandma like, I know I practiced witchcraft or my partner practices witchcraft and stuff, but
we're so out of tune we don't notice these things.
Yeah.
Stop bringing your sensitive kid over here pointing at the demons in our house.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Celia, for sending your story.
Cool. Good stuff. So I'm going to move on to my second and final email of the evening.
This is going by so fast.
It is much shorter. But hey, this is just something we're going to do. I mean, we might switch back to 6. We're just testing out the format. Because let's be real, like, a lot of the live episodes have been lasting between
2 hours.
2 to 2.5, sometimes even 3 hours, like close to 3 hours. And we do want to kind of narrow that down. And we're having Storytime episodes that last over an hour. Which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but we're burning through the stories.
I had my
that we
midterm
have.
today, so I'm not worried about a long episode.
Right on.
Kill me.
She's worried about other things, so I'm sure it wasn't as bad as it feels.
It
like
was horrible.
Was.
It was mechanics and materials, and I did not do well. I already know.
I don't think it's going to be that bad. I'm not saying I think it's going to be great. I'm just saying I think it's going to come back here and be like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And my fingers are crossed for that, so cross your fingers as well, folks. But I am going to move on to my second one of the evening.
All right.
And this one's subject is My Haunted House, which is a pretty solid subject.
Baby, you're a haunted house.
I knew it. I knew you were going to do it.
I love that song. Okay. If you like Gerard Way, you have to hear that song. It's one of his newer releases. It's called Baby, You're a Haunted House, and it's cute. I just think it's nice and catchy and adorable.
I will say, and I'm just gonna take a quick side break here. We watched all of Umbrella Academy. I think we noted that. I don't think we gave it enough credit for how good of a show it is in relation to the music that plays during the entire show.
I made an entire playlist dedicated to it. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about on the air when we talked about it.
Oh.
In reference to the last time we talked about it.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying that, like, it's not just a good show. Like, it really is, like, told really well with music involved, and that's not shocking because it's Gerard Way's story. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I kind of want to watch it again. I know Ralph, who's going to be on the show soon,
I'll watch it again.
said he's
100%.
on his second watch through of the show. So I really feel like I need to start watching Game of Thrones again to get refreshed, since it's all gonna end. They released that new trailer, I think, yesterday. And yeah, I'm pretty effing stoked for that. Game of Thrones isn't exactly horror, so it's not exactly a thing we'd normally talk about. It is a pop culture sensation. And I'm just saying, my theory, everyone is gonna die. They're all gonna die.
I want Tormund to live. Tormund is one of my absolute favorite characters. I think he's absolutely hilarious, and I love him and his silly ginger beard. And Godric. No, not Podrick.
Podrick?
No. What is it? Gendry.
Gendry. Okay.
I was mixing up the two characters because they're both characters that aren't in it very much. But
I like that Gendry's come back for the final season for the war.
His hammer is sick.
It's a war hammer. His dad had a war hammer.
goodness.
If you read the books, his dad was 6'6". He was a monster of a man. And he went into war wielding a warhammer. And like the battle of, I think it's like the Battle of the Trident, is where the war initially ended back in the day when Robert fought Rhaegar. And he killed Rhaegar in the Trident, and then they marched on the capital. And it's just so cool, man. I'm so excited. And just a spoiler alert, if anyone's watching Game of Thrones for the first time, now skip forward 60 seconds. Let's say 60 just to be safe. Rhaegar is Jon Snow's dad. And there's that picture in the trailer. I'm going really off like the fucking mark here, but there's a picture in the trailer of Daenerys and Jon standing next to the two dragons, and the one he's standing in front of is the one that's named after his dad. So I totally think he's gonna ride that fucking dragon.
He has to.
I'm so excited for Game of Thrones.
The fact
folks.
that he and Dany were like in front of the two dragons together, they have to ride them together. It has to be a thing, because why else would they both be there?
Yeah. Anyways, there's an email here that I started to read. And I left off on this part. Hi. I left off on the very beginning. Hello. Apologies. Someone out there wrote this, and they heard me start reading it, and they're like, oh, that's my email. And they're like, yeah, Game of Thrones is cool. Shut up and read my email. So I'm going to do that now.
Shut up and let me go.
It keeps going. You can share these stories on the podcasts. My name is Peyton, and I recently just found you guys while I was looking for some podcasts to listen to. I instantly love the podcast and who you guys are as people. That's really, really nice.
That's very nice, because sometimes I don't feel that way.
Sometimes people are like, I like your podcast. Not you, though. No one's ever actually said that.
No one's actually said that.
Please don't say that either.
Yes.
Anyway, it literally says
fragile
that.
Feelings.
That's built in there because they knew we were going to sidetrack tangent. Anyway, I am 16 and my parents are divorced and I have 6 siblings. That gives you a pretty good picture of who this person is to start out with. They're younger. Okay. They have 6 siblings. That's a lot of siblings.
That is a lot.
And your parents are divorced.
What's funny is that we're totally not in the generation where people have 6 kids anymore.
I know.
But our parents, like our grandparents, all had 1 million kids.
I know. I love big families. I mean, I grew up on big families on both sides of my family, so I understand that mindset. But like, my parents had 2 kids, me and my brother.
Now we're gonna pop out just 1 or 2. Too old.
1, 2, 6. We'll see.
No.
Okay, getting back to it. My brother and I are convinced that my dad's house is haunted. His house was built in the 1800s and has a tunnel in the basement that was filled with rocks. That's an old ass house, especially if
Yeah.
you're living in the States. There's
Filled
also
with rocks.
it's like they filled it in. That's what it sounds like
Who
to me.
fills up their basement with rocks?
No. Not their basement. The tunnel in the basement has been filled up with rocks.
Okay. Oh, so it's like you can't get in there anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they filled it in so you
Okay.
can't use it anymore.
Cool.
That's at least
Got
what it
it.
sounds like to me. There is also a little hidden room behind the staircase that looks like somewhere you would hide things.
Like Harry Potter.
I thought Harry Potter too. So my family and I are convinced
2
that
episodes in a row.
my family and I are convinced that it is a part of the Underground Railroad. That's super cool.
That is
You should
really
do some
cool.
serious research and see if
Yes.
there's history to your
You
home, because
should
that would be
totally do
amazing.
that.
All right, enough with the history and on to the stories. One night I was laying in bed on my computer watching YouTube, as all 16-year-olds do.
I mean, I go down YouTube holes at work all the time.
Sounds really gross, but I totally understand it. I go down YouTube holes all the time too. All of a sudden, I started to hear weird tapping behind my wall, which is odd because I have an attic space that connects to my room. I thought it was just an old house noise, so I ignored it and went back to watching YouTube. Solid reaction to that, to not overreact immediately. I'm sure it's going to be something awful after that.
And then demons.
2 minutes later, I heard a big bang right next to my head that scared the crap out of me.
And then Sheldon came and started talking to you.
He was like, bazinga. I turned and faced the wall, and it all went quiet. A week later, I was in my room getting ready to fall asleep. I always face the wall because I'm afraid of having sleep paralysis. My thought process is if I have sleep paralysis and something shows up in my room, I do not want to see it.
That's a legit solid thing.
That's
that
a strategy, yeah.
But see, I would do the same thing where I would sleep and turn towards the wall because I don't want to see something standing in front of me. If I wake up from a nightmare or something and it's right there, I don't want to see it. But if I'm facing the wall, I don't have to worry about it. What are they going to do? Stand inside the wall?
I'm not trying to trigger anything, but I'm just saying that I feel like if something really wanted to haunt you while you couldn't move, it would slide between you and the wall, and all you'd see, your field of vision would be nothing but dancing demon, just being like, "Hi." I'm just picturing that dancing demon that everyone posts in the Scary Spooky Friends
Brittany,
group.
bitch.
That's so funny. I want to say this just as a side note. People post stuff in the Scary Spooky Friends group, and I'll look at it and be like, "That's awesome," and I hit like or I laugh at it or whatever the case may be, and then 60 seconds to 3 hours later, a lot of the times people post it again. It's a different person posting it, and I feel like someone goes into their feed, sees it, and that's so funny, and they don't check to see if
Who posted it?
If they're posting it to the place that it was already posted, and I'm just like, I'm gonna click like again.
My friend Rothman, I love him, but it was just, there was one instance that made me laugh so hard because he's like, "Oh my God, I need to show you this video of this amazing gift wrapping stuff," and I was like, "Who posted it?" And he scrolled up and it was me.
It's like, oh.
I was just like, "You're welcome."
There's sometimes where I show Robin something that I haven't noticed that it says that she's already clicked like on it, so she's already seen it. But I don't think I've done that where I've shown you something that you posted. So that's really funny, though. Okay, so they're sleeping facing the wall so they don't have to see something if it shows up. Pretty good. Anyways, another anyways put in there because they knew that we were going to do that. Anyways.
You guys are so smart because
you know us.
Yeah, there are so many emails that have the intro and then it says anyways because we're going to go on a tangent.
Yeah, we're just going to talk a bunch of bullshit.
And we can't help it. It's just what my mind does.
So anyways, I was about to fall asleep when all of a sudden, if you're not watching right now and you heard a noise, it was her striking me. When all of a sudden I saw a shadow out of the corner of my eye. I was frozen with fear and I did not know what to do. With at least a minute of me looking at this figure, it ran towards me. I quickly hit on the light and it was gone. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. That's pretty effed up. This last story happened about 3 nights after the shadow ran at me. Shout out to Sadlow1204 who has just followed us on Twitch. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
The thing ran at them. The last story is about what happened 3 nights after the shadow showed up. I was talking with one of my friends over FaceTime, as 16-year-olds will do.
I didn't have FaceTime as a 16-year-old.
I didn't either. I had AOL Instant Messenger.
I had MySpace.
I was like, I'm going to update my About Me with some cool-ass quotes.
I was too busy figuring out who my top 8 friends were.
That's messed up. That Tom made you pick your top 8 friends, and then he switched it to top 32 so you didn't have to make anyone mad. And then if you had a friend who didn't make your top 32, I'm pretty sure you just stopped talking to them.
I learned how to use HTML because of MySpace.
Lots of people did.
And I would create custom top 8. So I'd take my friends' pictures and crop them and make them all nice and pretty and have them nicely organized. It was fun. But I mean, same with LiveJournal.
A lot of people
Taught
put
us
a
how
lot
to
of
do
work.
HTML, yeah.
A lot of people put a lot of work into their MySpace pages. Then Facebook came out, and they're just like, you know what? F that.
Remember, like when you put MIDI on your page and
do.
stuff like that.
Shout out to, and you could pick a song that played when someone went to your page, and everyone's like, what do I want my song to be? What song is me? What was your song, Robin?
I don't know. I was
Really?
I was like 15. I don't know.
Mine was all these things that I've done. Shout out to Lexus B, who just subscribed over on YouTube. We appreciate
Thank you so much.
While we were talking about how our day was going, my inhaler, and in parentheses, I have asthma. Shout out to asthma. I used to have it too. Was
Don't
thrown.
shout out to asthma. Asthma, get the fuck
Shout out to
here.
asthma people. My bad. Shout out
you
to
so much,
Swazzles, who just
Swazzles.
resubscribed for the 5th month in a row. The message is heart, heart. So heart to you as well. Okay, I'm going to read this
You're not
sentence
gonna go
over
like
since
this?
it's been interrupted. I guess this is a heart. Robin just told me that if you take your thumb and your forefinger and you
Yeah,
cross them
it's
at
a
the
heart.
tips, it makes a heart. I don't know how that looks. To me, it just looks like my two
It's a
fat
Korean
sausage-like
thing.
fingers
It's like a K-pop
mashing
thing.
together. I'm doing it right?
My fingers are too chubby. My fingers are chubby though, so it doesn't look cute. It just looks like I don't
Mine
know.
just looks like an amorphous blob. That means I love you. So while we were talking about our day, how our day was going, my inhaler was thrown across my desk and fell on the floor. I hung up on my friend and went to see where it landed. You should have stayed on FaceTime with them just in case you got murdered, that there would be a witness. I then heard footsteps outside my door. I stood there just listening and heard a click. It sounded like my hallway light being turned on. Better on than off. So I opened my door a crack and saw the light on. It wouldn't make sense for one of my many siblings to turn it on because the footsteps would have continued, not just stopped. That's pretty good deductive reasoning right there. So at this point, I was so done with paranormal crap, so I just tried my best to go to bed. The next morning, my brother asked me if I heard footsteps, and I told him yes. The next thing he told me gave me the chills. The chills, chicken skin, goosebumps, whatever you want to call them.
So many different terms.
He said he heard someone playing with his latch. I'm guessing like to his door to get in.
That's like I would panic.
He said at the disco, he said something kept moving it up and down. These events kept occurring between 11 at night and 4 in the morning.
No.
We both tried to keep an ear out the
dealing with
next
it
night.
for so long, all night.
We both tried to keep an ear out the next night, but nothing happened. I do have more stories like this about my dad's old house. If you want some, just email me. We will email you directly after this. Well, thank you guys so much for your amazing podcast. By the way, sorry if this was a little long. Never worry if it's a little long. Tell us the story in your words, and if it's long, no big deal. We're still going to read it. So thank you very much for sending that. That's super, super creepy.
Yeah.
It's nothing like dealing with something paranormal on your own and feeling isolated, and you think validation from someone else telling you they're experiencing the same thing is going to make you feel better. It just confirms that there's something creepy going on, and it just makes you feel even more paranoid. Like you might have someone to share that burden with now, so you're like, hooray, the house is haunted. Like, it's just a whole new level of creepiness when that happens. So you have 6 siblings, though, so maybe it'll haunt one of them and leave you be. Fingers crossed. Watch Paranormal Activity 2. I think they, like, enchant a cross and give it to one of their siblings, and that's what happens. That's what happens. Paranormal Activity 2 is set before Paranormal Activity 1, and the events that wrap up at the end of Paranormal Activity 2 cause Paranormal Activity 1. Spoiler alerts if you haven't seen them. They're like 15 years old, and they're not that good anyways. So, little bit of inspiration for you if the thing won't leave you alone. Please don't do that, by the way. Don't make someone else get haunted. Try and deal with it in a better way. I don't know what to suggest.
Oh, are you talking about the fact that she like made her sister haunted in Paranormal Activity?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Spoilers.
She
Yeah.
cursed a cross and then gave the cross to her sister, and that cross is,
No,
if you
was
watch
it the-
Paranormal Activity 1, it's a cross that they have in their house.
Okay, I thought it had to do with like because up in their attic. Spoilers if you don't want to know the end of the stupid movie.
The burnt picture?
The picture in the attic of
Yeah.
her sister.
That's
and
also
everything.
one of the things that they
Okay.
do. Yeah.
All
Because they
right.
put the cross on. Okay, this is just straight up spoiler territory. They put the cross on the
Spoiler
possessed party,
cast.
and the whole house shakes, and then it finally stops, and it just seems like the cross. Then they of course then give that to the sister. It's like, let it haunt you instead. And then like the further ones try and like make it all about like a witch's coven
Well,
and
and then
bringing
there
a
was
demon to
time
life.
travel.
There was time travel. It gets really, really fucking wacky and silly, and it's
Yeah.
like it's still creepy. There's still
But
a solid jump scare
it started
movies.
to not be scary anymore once they added that where the kids in I don't know if it was in California or was it Mexico
I don't know.
where they had a
The one where
portal.
they finally do poor people having paranormal activity happen to them instead of super rich white people that have cameras all over their houses.
Yeah, and they find a portal and
Yeah,
they go
that's
through
the-
this portal and they end up in the first movie.
Yeah, that's, I think, the second to last one. They also time travel in the last one that came out. I don't want to spoil everything for you guys. I'm just going to tell you, it's really effing lame.
Yeah. The last one is the one with the little kid in the tent, right?
I don't know. There's been kids in tents in so many movies I can't keep track of
I don't
anymore.
want to get one of those for my kids.
My kids will not have a teepee. That's
No,
not
no
happening. If they're like,
teepees.
Dad, I want a teepee, I'm like, tell that demon who told you want a teepee. I said no.
Adam's friend posted a picture on Facebook of her getting her kids a little teepee. And I was just like, why would you do this?
Unfriend. I'll see you at your funeral, bro.
All right. Anyway. All right. So this next email has been long put off like by 30 minutes.
But for those of you listening in the podcast version, it happened like that.
Oh, yeah.
The magic of editing. You're welcome, folks.
So the title of this next email is apparently my apartment is haunted.
Pretty good.
It's always nice. I mean, not nice that your apartment's haunted.
Not
but
nice for you.
It's a good title.
But we're excited to read about your plight with your haunted apartment.
All right. So it goes, hey, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hey, I'm Rachel from Hong Kong. What?
Hi, Rachel
That's
from Hong
awesome.
Kong.
I hope you two can read this on the podcast. You two are absolutely awesome and also relationship goals.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm not that good at English.
She goes, thanks. Because in her head, she's like, if you only knew.
I hate him so much.
I hate him so much.
I'm not that good at English, so there might be some incorrect grammar and stuff, but oh well, I tried. I don't speak any Chinese, so we're even.
I don't speak any other language, and you're communicating pretty well so far on the one I do speak, so thank you.
I tried to learn how to write thank you in Chinese today, and
Mandarin or Cantonese?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I mean, I can do it because it's like similar to Japanese, but that's the only two, well, technically the only one symbol I know how to draw.
Well, at least you have one more than I do.
All right. My uncle passed away when I was in primary 4, so was fourth grade.
Grade 4, primary school.
And I didn't really have an idea of what happened. All I knew was that he was in the hospital, and a few weeks after my mom told me the bad news. I really didn't know how to feel, and I couldn't really cry because I was a young kid and was too shocked to react at all.
I think that's a really common reaction to death when you're young.
You don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think up until like probably my 20s, when people would tell me, even someone very close to me passed away, I'd like, and I felt weird about this at the time, and looking back, I'm like, that's just how it is. I'd be like, oh man, like, that's a bummer, because it just doesn't settle in for you like when you're an adult, where like typically you panic or just freak out. And some people as adults, man, some people as adults hear that and they don't cry. They don't have an emotional breakdown. They're like, oh wow, like, and you know, the stages of grief and all that stuff, sometimes they apply and sometimes they just don't. People are just like numb to the idea, and it doesn't really settle in until like you legitimately begin to miss them. So it's a normal thing is what I'm trying to say.
A few months later, the band members from the bands he signed said that they saw him. So did a lot of his friends.
Wow.
I started to gain an interest in bands after he passed away. Spoiler alert, they were bands that he liked because, well, you'll see. I also picked up a lot of the things he learned when he was younger, including photography, drums, and guitar. I started learning guitar and took his guitar. I'm going to be honest, I'm not bad. Toot your own horn.
All right, toot, a little bit. It's a good thing, though. Have confidence with what you're trying to do.
When I took my uncle's guitar, I put it in the corner of my room and couldn't sleep that night until 12 or 1 a.m. Right around then, I heard knocks from the guitar. That has happened twice since I adopted the guitar. Doors and windows in my room also slam on their own.
I gotta say, it's a nice thing to take your uncle's
poltergeist.
Guitar. It's just a really creepy thing that it happened. This stuff happened after you took the guitar. Knocks from the guitar is terrifying for me. Like, I don't know, like, if you heard the guitar playing itself, I mean, that would also be super creepy, but like at least like a little nice because you have this melody. I don't know. I'm just imagining me being in this situation. I'm just like, wow. I don't know if I'd hang on to this guitar. I probably would because it means so much to me because it was my uncle's, but still, man, that's super creepy.
Yeah. Have you ever like played a guitar where you did like a beat, so you like thumped on the guitar
yeah.
and then strum? I don't know. I used to do that.
Yes, I think a lot of people have done that.
I don't know. I'm not good at it. Fuck it. Doors and windows in my room also slam on their own. There was a time where he lived in my room, maybe for half a year, because his apartment was being redecorated. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's
familiar with that area.
Then one day I heard knocks again, but this time in the middle of the day. My mom had students over, so I didn't suspect much. So I just got annoyed and yelled, "What do you want?" The knocking.
What do you want from me?
The knocking stopped. After a few minutes, it happened again. This time, I went out and looked who knocked on the door. No one. Apparently, they didn't hear my loud yell. Honestly, thank God they didn't. I started taking an interest in the things that he used to like. Bands like My Chem. Yes, Robin, I like them too. I love My Chem.
It's hilarious.
Gerard Way, I love you.
We just got done talking about Gerard Way.
Let's talk about them if you want to and if you have time. I love My Chemical Romance.
She was listening to Gerard Way while she was getting ready.
Yes, but it was like a Dead Mouse song that had Gerard Way as vocals on it. And it's funny because now that we have the Echo Dot all set up, this morning I was just like, can you play Dead Mouse for me? Like first thing in like 9 a.m. in the morning.
That's funny.
And I'm just like, play some Dead Mouse. I started learning guitar, took photography lessons at school, which I later found out the teacher was my uncle from my dad's side. So what's up with my uncles in photography?
That's hilarious. It's really funny to think that your uncles are very similar people.
And recently took drum classes and was surprisingly good at it. You must be just absolutely
musically talented.
Right.
Some people are just musically inclined and some people are not.
I have a conspiracy theory that he is actually controlling me most of the day.
That's
frightening.
Let's hope that's not the case.
It's so called a possession.
Let's hope it's more like you're taking an interest in the same things as your uncle because you're very similar people and you're talented like he was, and not he's controlling your body like you're a puppet.
I very recently found a Welcome to the Black Parade CD, My Chemical Romance, under his bed while trying to find his drum kit. You do know, I mean, Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yes.
Okay.
It obviously has Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it.
It's my face is just like,
she just looks at me like, you know this, right? Dead stare. Dead cold stare.
It's weird because that was the album I bought less than a week ago.
That's a bummer when you buy something and then you find it later. You're like, oh, I didn't need to buy that anyways.
It happens all the time. I think at a point we had like 4 different mustards.
Mustards?
Yeah, because we kept buying mustard.
We buy a lot of spices too that we think we need. Like we were in the store the other day.
Do you really need 2 celery salts?
She was like, I need white pepper. And I was like, I'm pretty sure we have white pepper. Not just that, but I'm pretty sure I bought white pepper and we already had white pepper. And she's like, we don't. I'm like, all right. So she bought white pepper. Guess what? We have 3 white peppers now.
White pepper's good though.
It is good. This is such a weird podcast.
My mom also said I've started to act like him more and more after he passed away, which is weird. But I'm glad because I looked up to him a lot and thought he was very cool. I don't really know how to end this, but please give a shout out to me and my really talented friends. I have a girl group called Rejected Royals. The Instagram is rejected_royals_band. And my friend Leslie the emo is really talented.
That's awesome.
So go check those guys out. I kind of want to check it out too.
It's a good name.
I mean, I love music.
Rejected Royals.
My art account is Ray_I_animations. I love y'all. Stay spooky. I love your podcast and keep up the wonderful work. I don't know how to write here, but people usually put sincerity. So let's assume I know what to do. Sincerely, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Solid sign off.
It's that's a really solid story. Like a really solid, I don't know, homegrown horror type thing where it's like, am I getting possessed by his personality?
Do my similarities, is this because he was my uncle or is it because he's like influencing my actions?
Or it's like something where you looked up to him and so you're trying to be into what he was into.
I think that's definitely, I shouldn't say definitely, I think that's more likely the case than some sort of possession. But I mean, if you have an object in your house that belonged to him and creepy stuff like that happens, I don't know. That's just a weird thing. I don't know if I would keep that object personally, although knowing what sentimental value it must have for you, I can't imagine getting rid of it either. So either way, let's just hope it's just your way of tribute, like being a tribute to your uncle. So very good story. Thank you for sharing that with us. We do appreciate it. So I guess that's just about most of what we do for the show. I mean, we're doing it with a little bit less than the normal like load that we have, but we might go back to 6 if this seemed too short. But realistically,
it's been an hour and 45 minutes.
It's been a decent length show. We'll see once the edit comes in what the final result comes down to. I have a feeling it's going to be between 30 and 40 minutes, which is relatively short. And most people are like, no, make them longer. So we'll figure it out. The biggest fear is that we're going to run out of stories. So we're gonna operate under the we're gonna operate so that we don't run out of stories. Is basically what I'm going to get down to here. Is we don't want to read more stories than we take in a week. And so going down to 4 means that we're doing that. We can build up more of a backlog and stuff like that. So if you have a story and you keep saying you're going to send it, please send it. Now is the time to do so.
Ask your relatives, ask your friends if they have crazy, paranormal, supernatural experiences. Even if it is about Supernatural, the show. I love that show.
I hate you so much. It is a good topic, too, to bring up. Like, so I listen to this podcast. It's paranormal, and people send in their stories like, do you have anything like that, Dad, Mom,
Has
Grandma,
anything
Grandpa?
weird happened to you?
Yeah, you'd be shocked at some of the stories your parents or your grandparents might actually tell you. It might blow your mind. So fun stuff. Let's go ahead and just do the normal outro. So thank you so much to everyone who sent us your emails. We do appreciate it. And for those of you who want to share with us the stories that you have, email storytime@scarish.com. You can also message us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can join the group, the Scarish Spooky Friends group. If you want to post it there and get some comments instantly, you can also go to our website, scarish.com, and click on contact us. And if you do that, you can fill out that form and send it directly to us. Don't have to worry about going through anything else. If you want to join our Discord, we have a lot of channels. We're going to be putting up a Game of Thrones channel because I can't seem to stop talking about it. And I'm really excited for this new season. And there's channels for pretty much everything else that you could ever think of. And if there isn't a channel, you can request one. We might just make it.
Yeah, we have a Haunting at Hill House spoiler chat in there.
There's a Disney chat.
There's a
bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah, it's what we are trying to build is just a big community of people that are into weird things.
And we can all talk about the other things
and
we're
the
into
other
as well.
things that we like. So I know everyone is into their own stuff, and I think it's cool that it's like bringing like-minded people together.
If you want to join the Discord, go to scarish.com. On the right-hand side, when you scroll down, you see the links to all of our social medias. Just click the Discord one and you'll be in. Tweet at us at ScarishPod. Instagram is at ScarishPodcast. And one last shout-out, go to scarish.com and click on Store, and all of our products are combined into one location. And if you click on it because you'd like to purchase it, it will take you to the purchasing site, so you don't have to worry about going back and forth between everything. They're all compiled there. And we're going to keep it that way anytime we add a new design, regardless of where it's at. We're going to make sure that it's put up on our scarish.com store so that you can find it as easy as possible. And thank you to everyone who's already purchased some of those products. Robin has done some very hard work getting those designs together, and I really think they look very good. And some of you do too. So
I'm trying to fit all the drawing and getting stuff made between school and work and stuff like that. And so I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it because I really work hard at it.
She does. She works very hard. So it's the least I can do to just make a page that just combines all the different places where we have our products. So Robin, if folks wanted to donate to us, they're not interested in purchasing materials, or maybe they just want to actually do a one-time donation or a monthly donation, how can they do that?
If you go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, we do have some exclusive stuff that we've put on there for patrons only, and that starts at $1 and up. And it's a monthly thing, and I mean, Adam just posted him raging. It's like a clip from the episode we just recorded this past week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with y'all really quick. So a lot of times we're gonna record on Sunday, and you know what happens on Sunday? Life. Basically, one of the only days where we have time to go refuel and restock for all the things we're going to need for the week, because Robin is very busy because she has school and work. And sometimes we can't fit the record into Sunday, but we fit it into Monday. And sometimes those records go late. And when you have someone just drag past your house, when you live next to a road and a motorcycle at 11 o'clock at night, just revving that thing up into 35 mile per hour zone to make it as loud as humanly possible. Yeah, I got triggered, man. And it was like a minute and a half of me just going off. And I was like, do I leave this in the show? And Robin's like, you should just put it up there for the patrons. I was like, all right, they can hear what I sound like raw when I'm really angry. Someone commented on Patreon, they're like, I like to have an What Grinds My Gears thing where I listen to Adam lose his mind.
Yeah, so we have stuff like that's posted on there. We have a couple other stupid sound bites that Adam's made.
I have that song that I made of Robin humming because she covers her dead air with rap, and I think it's really good. So it's good stuff. We also have discount codes for a lot of the stuff that we put up.
So if you become a patron this month, right now there's an exclusive code for 15% off our Teespring store. So you can order stuff on there, get 15% off your whole order, and help support us, which is great.
It makes financial sense to sign up for less money than you're going to save.
Yes.
Because in the end, you're a patron, you're helping us out, and on top of that, you're saving money. Ko-fi?
Ko-fi, coffee.com, ko-fi.com/scarish podcast. Those are for one-time donations, and all those donations help us upgrade our studio setup. We're going to get new lights here soon, which is great. We are definitely working on buying those plane tickets to go to San Jose and visit the Winchester. We're going to hopefully set that up.
We hope to have an announcement here imminently.
And please let us know if what days would be better if we went on a Saturday or a Friday or Sunday.
I imagine weekends are best for most people, but we just don't know. And once we know, it'll help us really. Realistically, we're going to have to make the decision based off of when we can go and then take some input into when you folks can go as well. So that's coming up very, very, very quickly here. And we're going to have enough time where we can kind of coordinate with the Winchester Mansion. I need to reach out to them and be like, yo, dogs, if we have a large enough group, how can we make this thing private? Right. How can we make sure that if we get a good number of people showing up, that we can all go on the same tour?
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. It'd be really neat if we could have enough people go buy tickets and then have them just have it be a day for just a scary-ish thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a full day, but it could be just like an event.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
We'll see what happens with it, but we're very excited. Thank you, everyone who came out during January Patreon push and made it possible. So
yeah,
I think that's just about everything that we have, though. So thank you to everyone who watched us live. Thank you to everyone who's listened to the podcast version. We appreciate every one of you. We hope to hear from you, and we hope that you can come watch one of the live shows because it's very, very fun.
It's very fun. We love talking to everyone in the chat. Obviously, we went on some amazing tangents about Game of Thrones this week. And you guys are awesome. Just saying.
So I think that's just about everything that we got. So, Robin, why don't you sign us out?
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys next week.